All right, good to be here. Hi guys, so my name is Sid Shekhar. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about how you can begin talking to your wallet. So first, a bit of background about myself. I've been building and working in crypto for over a decade now. I started a company in 2016 called Token Analyst, where we were doing on-chain analytics during the early days of Ethereum. And we built that out, and then we eventually got acquired by Coinbase in 2020. And I was leading the blockchain research team in Coinbase for over 4.5 years. And at the end of that period, in the middle of last year, I kind of got frustrated a little bit with crypto as a whole, because during my tenure just building in the space, at the core, I realized, crypto is, at its fundamentals, is a pretty simple proposition, which is transactions flowing between peer-to-peer in a decentralized open ledger. But around this, we've invented all of this complexity and jargon and just impediments for end users to interact on chain. We have had over 100 different L1 and L2 blockchains, over 500 million tokens deployed over the last couple of years. And all of this just serves to make the experience of interacting on chain a bit more of a hassle when a new user is coming in. And that was kind of the inspiration for us to start building Gina. So Gina, just to give a brief intro, the goal with Gina was to make interacting on-chain a genuine delight and a fun experience, and keeping it very simple. And at its core, what is Gina? So Gina is effectively a cross-chain wallet and an AI agent that's enabled within that wallet. So it's effectively an AI-enabled wallet where the agent has shared permissions within that wallet to execute transactions on your behalf. So the agent itself, Gina, we've given her a lot of tooling and capabilities. One of the main tenets that she can actually perform really well on is what we call deep research, where she has access to all of the crypto market data APIs, everything from high, low, close of every asset in the crypto universe, as well as contextual news and blockchain data sets as well. And then, of course, she can also execute transactions. So this includes everything from multiple tokens in one go across multiple chains, bridging, swapping, you name it. She can do all of this with just a sentence that you can prompt her with. Today, what I really wanted to focus on was, in the spirit of a demo, actually go through 3 real-life users who've been using Gina day-to-day over the past few months, and just go through their use cases. They vary in their complexity levels, so it's a fun one to just kind of go through how they've been using it. We'll start off with Ash, 0x Ash. He's 23 years old. He's a full-time trader and turbo degen. His portfolio consists of something like this, where it's a constantly rotating mix of assets that changes almost every day. He's consistently trying to keep on top of the latest assets that are launched. His homepage, most of the time during his desktop, looks something like this, where he's on the homepage of pump.fun and GMGN and other tools that are flashing indicators at him for new token launches and just news that's coming up all the time. And his job, his day-to-day workflow involves either A, if he's on a desktop executing on an order book, setting limits and quickly getting in and out of tokens, or manually pasting contract addresses into his Telegram bot to execute. And with Ash, the workflow for him has dramatically changed with Gina, where the first prompt he does every morning is just show me the trending assets today. Gina kind of filters through effectively what is the front page of Deck Screener to get him a curated list of assets that are trending in terms of volume, in terms of new buyers coming on chain, and also filters for assets that are without the risk of any scams or phishing attempts as well. So she does that background work for him. And his next step is effectively to prompt her to say, get me exposure to all of these assets in equal proportions. And she actually does that in the back end. Regardless of the chain, he's not worried about what chain it's on, what's the slippage amount, whether he's protected from MEV. All of that is handled on the back end by the agent. And Gina just does the execution for him. So it's saving him a ton of clicks, stress, 5 different websites, human error, and a bunch of other factors as well, just making his workflow a lot more efficient. So Ash is one extreme example, but he's been using Gina daily over the past few months. Another example is Charlie. So Charlie's a lawyer. He's 35 years old, based in London, and He's a full-time lawyer, but he's been having exposure to crypto for quite a few years. And his portfolio looks something like this, a bunch of layer 1 blockchains and stable coins as well. Not too risky, but he's consistently stressed over crypto, and his diet when it comes to crypto largely consists of CT, scrolling Twitter whenever he has a spare minute during work, and reading every crypto newsletter on his commutes, consistently fretting over it. And he's messaged me several times asking about what's the latest in the space, etc., trying to keep on top of it. And with Gina, really, he's connected his wallet and his assets. He's put his assets into the Gina smart wallet, and what he asks her every morning is just, can you give me any insights and relevant news related to my assets and my portfolio? And she not only gives him the news, but also gives him a kind of overall composition in terms of where he should be looking at, what sectors does he have exposure to, what other market context he should be aware of that's coming up, whether that's related to token unlocks or just systematic trends that he should be aware of. That's kind of second order thinking from just the raw feed, information feed, and news that he's confirming, that he's kind of consuming on a day-to-day basis. Gina's kind of doing the work for him as a kind of data analyst to help him out to actually analyze his own portfolio in more depth. And then when he was executing transactions, this was kind of his workflow day-to-day, where he was trying to get yield on stable coins on a regular basis and was always hunting around for the best yields on chain. He would flip between the different networks on Aave regularly and then go to other chains and try to figure out where he can get the best bang for his buck. And he was using a browser wallet where he even got phished once by clicking on a bad link and losing a bunch of money. His workflow with Gina is, again, very, very different, where he has a very simple prompt to ask for single-sided yields, and Gina kind of searches through a list of over 16,000 pools across different chains and gives him a kind of curated list of blue chip yield options where the yield has been sustainable. It's stayed similar for several months at a time, and also very ultra traditional blue chip options where the TVL is also extremely large. It's over several $100 million, and the yield is also pretty sustainable as well. So the research process for him to discover stablecoin yields is also dramatically shortened and effectively taken that load off of his back. So Charlie's one example, kind of in the middle tier of complexity. And then finally we come to Anne. So Anne is a special case. She's like a 50-plus-year-old director at a trading firm in London, and she actually came to one of our real-world events that we held a couple of months ago. And she has a bit of Bitcoin on Coinbase, not much exposure to the rest of the on-chain universe. And her diet when it comes to crypto is something like this, where from traditional news articles, it's either the greatest thing since the internet or the worst scam in history, and so she was obviously hesitant to take that next step in exploring what's next after Bitcoin. And so she came to our event, and she actually did her first on-chain transaction using Gina, which was pretty surprising, where the prompt she used was literally to spell out her exact situation. She didn't really have context into crypto overall at all. And so she literally just spelled it out saying, hey, I have some Bitcoin on Coinbase. I want to get exposure to a broad set of categories and sectors within crypto. How can I do so? And with a little bit more context, Gina effectively provided to her, first options that would be directly accessible to her, traditional brokerages and index funds that she could get access to. And then if she really wanted to take a deeper look on chain, how could she manually diversify into different categories and what are kind of quote unquote safe assets within those categories with larger market caps. And here I think I saw her actually go through this process where she was confused as to what these names and these tickers were, and so she kept asking messages to Gina, and eventually she got a list of suggested follow-up questions where she could actually dig deeper and actually understand these categories for herself and get a 101 crypto 101 use case of like what exactly these categories mean, how do these assets play a role within them, so on and so forth. And yeah, I was pretty happy to get a person who had never interacted on chain actually do a transaction with their first transaction executed by an agent. So yeah, what's next for us? I mean, currently Gina today, by the numbers, is we have over 2,500 users with just like Ash, Ann, and Charlie that have Gina wallets that have been trialing Gina. They've sent over 200K messages to Gina in the past few months. We've just been live for a few months. We started earlier this year, and Gina can execute transactions on 8 over 8 chains. We're continually adding more chains every other week. And yeah, we started out actually last year as one of the first agents on the social feed. So we were probably the first agent on the Farcaster social feed in the middle of last year. And people could tag Ask Gina and she would respond to you. In fact, you can still do that today. If you tag Gina on Farcaster, she'll respond to you right away. So the community there has been fantastic. And they even give us feedback for what to build next. It's kind of guiding our roadmap in terms of trying to make Gina a little bit more agentic, where you give her a pool of capital and you authorize it, and then she can execute scheduled transactions based on flexible conditions. So effectively elevating the limit order that we have in crypto to a more broader category overall. Yeah, I mean, Gina today is live as a web app and as a mini app as well on Farcaster and Coinbase Wallet. You guys can access it. And I think, yeah, the best way to get started is go to askgina.ai. You can sign in with any social method and start talking to your wallet, you know. Thank you.